My mom said something very profound one time. She said, "Do you think if my husband and I had known that our kids were going to get poisoned, we would have stayed here? We would have done everything we could to get ourselves out of here, but no one ever told us."
Bombs were developed here, built here, and researched here, are stored here, and then they're buried here.
The U.S. government tested the first ever atomic bomb at the Trinity site in south central New Mexico. We were unwilling, unknowing, uncompensated participants in the world's largest science experiment.
Not giving awe. Lois Lipman, okay, who has created these amazing documentaries, and Tina Cardoza. Oh my God, you've been a pioneer for what's going on in New Mexico, what happened in New Mexico. Okay.
We still are a pioneer. Nobody knows the story yet.
Yeah,
We're out there telling the story, trying to get the word out about the work that we've been doing for 18 years to bring attention to the negative health effects suffered by the people of New Mexico after being overexposed to the bomb that Oppenheimer created and detonated at the Trinity site. We had people living as close as 12 miles to that test site, and the government never warned anybody before or afterwards. And we've been dying ever since. I'm a cancer survivor. There's 5 generations in my family that have had cancer since 1945. I'm the 4th generation, but I have a 23-year-old niece going to college in San Jose who has thyroid cancer. And so we've got to work to get the film out.
Yeah, we've got to work to get out. I wanted to add that Oppenheimer's physicians begged General Groves to evacuate residents in New Mexico because they knew that the radiation would be devastating. And Groves, in the documents, secret documents, was worried about litigation, and nobody was warned. And so they all left, and the residents stayed, and they got radiated. And yes,
Over and over.
radiated. And there's legislation. We need to have a viral movement of people writing their legislators and saying, expand RETCA to the victims of the Cold War nuclear tests in Trinity. And we just need a few more Republicans to come on board. And radiation gives cancer to Republicans and Democrats. And this has to be done quickly because the possibility the window closes June 7th.
Right. And RECA is the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. It's a fund that's been set up since 1990, but it's never included the people of New Mexico. We were the first people exposed to a nuclear bomb any place in the world, and we've been left out.
Well, and this happened in 1945.
Yes.
And people up to about 35 miles from that lived 35 miles from the site were affected. And the thing is, I saw that it went into the ground, into vegetation, into the animals.
That's right.
And what's amazing is people years after this moved there, or even I think it went all the way down to Utah when they were filming something in Utah in 1961, and people died of cancer from that. That's how many years, and still people are still being affected.
So the Trinity bomb produced fallout that went to 46 states, Canada, and Mexico. And then the government tested in the Pacific Islands and eventually at the Nevada test site. And that fallout irradiated our entire country. But the Trinity test was the dirtiest of the bombs because it's the only time the government detonated a bomb on a platform 100 feet off the ground. And it created massive fallout. That fireball rose over 7 miles. So, no one was warned before or afterwards. We were living very organic lifestyles. We were depending on the rain that fell from the sky for our water. We didn't have grocery stores in 1945. We didn't have electricity. So what did we do? We grew everything, we raised everything, or we hunted everything we ate. Everything was irradiated, and we therefore became subject to that radiation. And it's, like I said, been killing us ever since. And so we're fighting to get the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act amended in Congress. And like Lois said, we have been so close. This last year, we had 61 votes in the U.S. Senate, but Republicans blocked the bill at the last minute. And so we start all over, and we're facing this deadline in June. So we need everybody to join with us in this fight.
Okay, so how can someone like this, that they don't live in New Mexico, how can they make a difference? How can they go vote? How can we do that?
write their congressman and say, please expand RECA. It's urgent. It needs to be done before it expires on June 7th. So it's just RECA, expand RECA.
And I always tell everybody, once you know this history, if you don't do anything, if you don't join with us, if you remain complacent, then you're complicit in the injustice of all this. So Lois is right. Email your member of Congress. Let them know that you are fighting with the downwinders of New Mexico and other places to make sure that RECA gets expanded and extended before the June deadline.
And it's urgent that we have residents of other states write their congressmen, because we have total support in New Mexico.
That's how lies work. I mean, you tell them long enough and people believe them.